I've noticed a recent trend about the way a lot of single-player games are being treated these past couple of years. When you think of things you like or dislike about single-player games, you think of things like gameplay, mechanics, story, graphics. Here, an example is better. I recently played Spider-Man for the PS4 remastered, and I absolutely loved the web swinging in the game. It's addicting and so enjoyable. I go back sometimes to just swing around the game every now and then. The music that swells up as you swing, increasing in bravado the faster you go. The story was one of 2018's best. I mean, up there alongside Red Dead 2 and God of War. What I just described is a normal way to like or dislike a game and judge how good you think a game is with your own personal opinion. Things like a story, gameplay, mechanics, graphics, if these things aren't good in a game and you think they're bad, that's fine. I don't like Pokemon Sword and Shield either. The issue I have is with a recent obsession to judge a game's quality based on how many people are currently playing it. This video is sponsored by Helix Sleep, by the way, but more on that in a bit. See, I can almost understand the idea behind judging the quality of a game based on how many people are currently playing it. If a game is popular and selling well, and a lot of people keep logging on to play it, they must enjoy it, which means it has to be good. But that's not judging a game on quality. That's judging a game based on how well it retains players. That means that, yeah, competitive games like CS2 or live service games like Apex Legends or Fortnite suddenly become some of the best games ever made. And you know what, if you truly want to believe that, then sure, but also please play other games. It begins to snowball when people start judging single player and multiplayer games with the same thought process that if you're gaining players, you're good, but if you're losing players, that's bad. Let's take Starfield for example. I have no hard feelings for the game. I didn't really get sucked into it for a multitude of different reasons that I'll touch on in a second. However, there's been a crazy amount of posts and articles all talking about how Starfield is hemorrhaging active players. The single-player action RPG released 3 months ago that takes about 22 hours to complete is hemorrhaging players. Ding ding ding, massive text on screen, the players finished the fucking game. On top of that, we're talking about a Bethesda game that doesn't even have a fleshed out modding scene yet. All the top mods are either requirements, FPS improvements, or UI changes. We're not at the stage yet where people are porting over the BASB from MW3 or literally anything from Infinite Warfare, which shockingly might really fit the aesthetic. The odds are only stacked higher when you realize in between the release date of this article and Starfield's release date, we've seen the releases of Baldur's Gate 3, specifically on PS5, Lies of P, Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, Counter-Strike 2, Assassin's Creed Mirage, Forza Motorsport, Sonic Superstars, Mario Wonder, Spider-Man 2, Alan Wake 2, RoboCop Rogue City, Like a Dragon Gaiden, Modern Warfare 3, and the Super Mario RPG remake. That isn't even counting the multitude of other indie games or the amount of people that are hopping on Lethal Company. That's 15 different heavy-hitting games right now between Starfield and this article. Hell, I'm shocked anything is retaining players this year. Obviously, it's not like Starfield doesn't have issues. It's by no means a perfect game, believe me, but the fact that pointed out in this article, Fallout 4 saw a similar first month drop. Why do we care about this game's player count? Oh, Skyrim has more players than Starfield. Yeah, duh, I can mod in Goku's Kamehameha. Why would I want to play any other game? Now, allow me to fill a contractual obligation quick. I usually gauge how safe an area in a game is by judging whether or not I'd be able to sleep there. Some areas are cozier than others. Animal Crossing allows me to build my dream home, but Elden Ring doesn't give me many options for a safe sleep. I'm not gonna sleep in the Scarlet Rot, and the places that I actually can sleep in the game either give me a permanent debuff or are literally made of stone. Not very comfy. If you're looking for somewhere comfy to sleep, I can only recommend the sponsor of this video, Helix Sleep. Helix is a company that specializes in creating mattresses that are fiberglass free, premium quality, tailored to your needs, and shipped right to your front door. By taking the Helix Sleep quiz available on the website, I was matched with the Helix Dusk Luxe, since I like a medium firm mattress, sleep on my back and stomach, and enjoy a nice, cool mattress. As advertised, my mattress was shipped for free and arrived at my front door rolled up in a box. I got to work setting it up, and it's an incredibly easy process if you actually angle your mattress correctly, unlike me. Once I let this thing puff up for 2 hours, I got to work, well, sleeping on the job. And oh my god, I don't know how exactly I can express this, but this is the greatest mattress I've ever owned. It's so comfy. I'm not hamming this up for the sponsor. Like a few nights ago, I went to bed at 12 a.m. and woke up at 12 p.m. I slept on my back for 12 whole hours and got up without feeling like I needed to stretch. Also, since I get really hot in my sleep, I went and upgraded to the Glaciotex cooling cover, and I have finally slept cool. If you want a Helix mattress of your own, go to helixsleep.com/Stryxo, link in description, to get 25% off your Helix mattress, plus 2 free pillows. Any mattress comes with a 10-year warranty, and if you don't like it, Helix gives you a 100-night sleep trial to really test it out. Sponsorship aside, Starfield is not the first and won't be the last game to have these talks. It happened with Elden Ring, of all games. According to this article, tragically, Elden Ring went from nearly 1 million concurrent players a week or two after its release date to only 100,000 concurrent players in May of 2022 on Steam. Like, was that meant to be a bad thing? Once again, a single-player game after being out for 3 months. You know, Halo Infinite would love to have 100,000 concurrent players on Steam. Hell, at the time of writing this, that's the current 24-hour peak on Steam for Modern Warfare 3, Warzone, and MW2 all rolled into one stupid launch app bundle, or whatever COD is doing with their program nowadays. This whole panic about the player counts of single-player games is just a made-up issue. It doesn't matter outside of being an indicator of how popular a game is, and as most people know, popular doesn't mean good. Pokemon Sword and Shield. Player counts only matter to live service games, and trying to treat every game that comes out like a live service is absolutely awful in a year that developers have been mired by the effects of a slump in live service gaming. Ever since Fortnite came out and those articles about how much money GTA Online was making dropped, every new multiplayer game, and sometimes non-multiplayer focused games, have been pushed to release with live service elements. Battle passes, season drops, etc., get shoved into these, bloating the size of these projects in timeframes that are already probably unreasonable. The game drops, it gets a like 79 out of 100 on Metacritic, it was alright or kinda good, and makes a reasonable amount of money. However, the fact that it isn't instantly pulling Fortnite numbers and revenue means people get laid off. Live service is inherently something that thrives off of sucking in a player's full attention. You don't care about the guy who logs in once every 2 weeks to relax with a bit of COD, you care about the guy who only plays your game because they invested money into your battle pass, and they want to earn enough COD points from the battle pass they bought to get the next one without opening up their wallet. And this works great until you're asking the average gamer to load up that credit card with a battle pass for Apex, COD, Fortnite, Halo, any sports game they might play. Shit, Red Dead 2 has one. Even if this hypothetical person wanted to drop money on each of these battle passes, I don't think they'd physically have the time to complete all of them. And that's the big issue. The market has become so oversaturated in player retention and live service that the whole thing is crumbling. Remember Hyenas? Of course you don't. Sega spent over $70 million on it and canceled it before it even came out because they realized the space they wanted to break into was way too saturated. Also, allegedly the game sucked, but you know. I'm getting sort of off track with this, but the idea is that focusing on player numbers to try and speak to how good or bad a game is stupid. If you want to look at something to tell you how good or bad a game is, look at the reviews. Starfield deserves a mixed score on Steam because, in my opinion, the game's world is bland, empty, boring. There's like 1,000 planets to visit with fucking nothing on them. Hell, the first real mission I got had me walk across a barren wasteland with nothing but random resources that I had no idea about just how useful they may or may not be. The most interesting thing to me was the ability to build my own spaceship and having dogfights in space, but in practice, they're not as cool as I thought. There's a focus point for an article, not a headline that can be boiled down to players beat single player game and move on. In other words, single player gaming feels so damn good when you don't have someone in your ear telling you player numbers are down. Oh!
Let's go!
Oh my fucking god! Except Pokemon Sword and Shield. There's no fun. I just really don't like that game. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing or clicking on the end screen to watch another.